Now, can you see that you can actually learn this format off by heart? When you see it's bad debt is debit, and the debtor that we are writing off is credit. And that debtor is Smith, and it's 150. Smith, and it's 150. See? And because Smith is a debtor, my debtors control will also be credited. And I say narration, write off debt. And then I will draw a line just so that I know this transaction is done and dusted. But just a line till there. Don't draw a line under the figures. Okay. I don't think you can see that. Let's make it a darker line. Okay. Now, what actually happens more in real life is that debtors are declared insolvent, meaning bankrupt. So they are not going to pay me because they are declared insolvent. Now let me explain the process to you. Now let's say, so insolvency can be businesses that's insolvent. It's businesses that's insolvent, or it can be individual people that's insolvent. No. But let me explain to you how it works. If I get to a point where I am really not able to pay my debt, I am so overdue, then you tend to say, oh, I'm bankrupt. But are you legally bankrupt? No. You have to go to the court. You have to apply to be declared insolvent. It's not something that just happens like this. You have to go apply. Then they will give you someone, a estate manager. That guy will come to you. They will go through your books. It's people. You would have to go for debt counseling. Then they will decide. Yes, you are really in such a bind that you are not able to pay your debt. You're going to be declared insolvent. Now, when you are declared insolvent, now I'm going to use a lot of accounting words. Let me explain to you. When I look at a ratio, I say I've got my total assets as a ratio to my total liabilities. Okay. Now that total assets to total liabilities, we call this the solvency ratio. So solvency means I have the ability to pay all my debts. Long-term debts, short-term debts, all my debts. Now, total assets is not all money, right? Some of it is land and buildings, vehicles, equipment. Then you've got your bank, petty cash, cash flow. Most probably your bank is an overdraft because you are asking to be declared insolvent. So your bank would be a liability in that case. Debtors is an asset because did you know you can sell your debtors to the bank? You can go to the bank and they will buy your debtors from you. But they will not pay you the full value of the debtors. They will give you a percentage of the debtors. And then they collect from the debtors. Okay, so businesses can do that. Trading stock is assets. Can you see a lot of assets is real stuff. It's not money stuff. So, if they talk about your total estate, they talk about the money value of your assets. Okay, so when they talk about your estate, so I can say, oh, you know what? My estate is worth more than $1 million, which is true. So if I'm sitting here, I'm a millionaire. But it means nothing because my estate consists of my house that I bought that I still owe more than $1 million. You hear what I'm saying? Okay. So now what this guy is going to do, this, I can't remember the name of the person. I will look it up and I will WhatsApp you the name. So that guy is going to go in the process of liquidizing you. And what is that? So liquidizing means they're going to take your assets and they're going to turn it into money. How will they do that? Have you ever heard those, hey, 7 rand, 8 rand. Auctions, they're going to auction off your house, they're going to auction off your car, they're going to auction off your assets, ne? So that they can get cash, ne? So if they get cash, then they're going to see how much cash did we get and how much of the debt we can pay. Now, let me read for you this sentence and see if it makes sense to you. A debtor Maseko was declared insolvent. Can you see? He's not solvent. He's insolvent. We, our business, received 40 cents in the rand from his estate. What is his estate? It's the money value of his assets. So now it means if we receive 40 cents in the rand, it means for every rand that he owes me, he can only pay 40 cents. Does that make sense? Can you see why you can't just declare yourself insolvent? So for every rand he owes me, he's going to pay me 40 cents. So what's going to happen to the other 60 cents? Can you see there's still 60 cents of the rand left? What are we going to do with that 60 cents? Is he ever going to pay me? No, because legally they said he can only afford to pay you 40 cents for every rand he owes you. So what do you have to do with the 60 cents? You have to bad debt the 60 cents. So that 40 cents goes to the CRJ and the 60 cents we're going to bad debt. So let's go look. He owes us 200. The balance must be written off as irrecoverable. So now I go here. I know I'm going to have bad debt. And who's the debtor? Maseko. And for your narration, I just want you to do the following. You're going to show me the calculation. 200 rand times, how many cents am I writing off? And we're receiving 40. 60 cents. Okay, so remember that 60, 1 rand is 100 cents. Now, we receive 40 cents, which is going to go here to the CRJ. Right. So it means we're going to write off 120. Does that make sense? Ne? 120. And I draw a line. You with me? Oh. So now, can you see I wrote off 120 rand, but he owed me 200. Why? Because we received 80 rand. Ne? And what is that 80 rand? It's that 40 cents. Do you see? So in other words, 200 rand times 40 cents gives me 80 rand. So we get 80, we write off 120. So the narration for this one, I'm going to see this as the narration. Okay, the calculation. I want you now to quickly see the next one. The next one they say Botha is declared insolvent. His insolvent estate pays a first and final dividend of 20 cents. How much am I going to write off? 80 cents. So if I write it like this, my bank is going to be 20 cents. My bad debt is going to be 80 cents. So his debt that I need to zero is 100%. Okay. So now they say here for me, we received 292. So is the 292 20, 80 or 100? 20. 292. So how will I get the bad debt? By doing the UK, ne? So quickly do for me the UK and see if you can get the bad debt. Can you see that the bank's value is smaller than the bad debt? Can you see that? So when you do your calculation, can you see this is about 4 times this? Why do I say 4 times? Because 20 times 4 gives me 80. Right? So can you see it's going to be 4 times this? So when you get an answer that's still 200 or 300, you know you calculated it wrong. Okay. So let me show you. I take the amount. Now that amount, can you see this is the known. What is unknown? The 80. So unknown at the top, known at the bottom. The known. Why is it the known? Because I've got the percentage and the rate.
No, is it 80?
Bad debts. It's the unknown. And that's what I want to calculate. Can you tell me what it is? Can you see it's quite much bigger than that? Now I want you to take those two figures. So I know this one I'm going to have bad debt and Botha. Is it Botha? And the bad debt I calculated to be 1168. 1168. Oh, sorry. Okay. And I say it was 80 cents times, what was it? Oh no, I did it like this, ne? I said 292 times 80 over 20. Okay. And then in the cash receipts, I'm going to say Botha, and we received how much? What is the date? Thank you, baby. Okay. Yes. So if I total this, it's going to give me 372. And if I total the general ledger, I don't total the first 2 columns because I'm going to post them single. But I'm going to post this. So what is this total? 1. Okay. That one is going to go to the debtors control. Okay, but they didn't ask you to do the debtors control. I just want to show you quickly the debtors ledger. They only want the debtors ledger for Botha. So on the 23rd, and it doesn't matter if you do the CRJ or the GJ first. Doesn't matter. Okay? So I'm just going to say receipt or EFT. They didn't say. And on the credit side, I will say 292. Ne? And then I'm going to say bad debt. And on the credit side, I say 1168. Now I know this here is 1168. Ne? So 1168 plus 292 gives me the balance of what? What is the balance? 1460. And you can go check. If you say 1460 times 20 cents, you're going to get the 292. Okay. And the 80 cents is going to give you 1168. Yes. So I got the 140 by saying, if I reverse, ne? Can you guys stop talking? When I reverse, I change the sign. So I said 0 plus 116 gives me 116. No, I know, I'm showing the whole process. So now I say 116 plus gives me, you see, I'm reversing. And when you reverse, you change the sign. So I minus to get the answer, so now I'm going to plus to get the previous one. Okay. Please do for me the AOL. I'm going to do that for you quickly. So the AOL, what do I know? I know the debtors control decreased in both instances, ne? So the debtors control is going to be credit. And what is the rule for debtors control? Always beneath each other, never across. Ne? So the first would be bank, the second would be bad debt. Okay? Quickly see if you can fill in the AOL for me. So what I do now is I go look. And I just want you to see, can you see how easy it is to do the AOL and the journal, because they go together. Bad debt, debited. Debtors control, credited. I know control always beneath each other, never across. Never. Okay, so now what's going to happen is the bank was the 80. So this is like always. Both is assets. The bad debt, I know it's an expense and an asset. And the amount I've calculated 1168. And again, I'm telling you, learn that format out of your head. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 possible marks. And if the calculation was done here, if I didn't ask you the journal, you would even get more for that calculation as well.